Hey everyone, welcome to Patriot Versus Soapbox, where I give you my commentary on the news of the day as reported by the Wall Street Journal. Let's get on to business, shall we? First up, there's the New York Marathon, which is, just a 26-mile long foot race through New York. So, not a lot interesting as far as what I like to talk about on the show. But what I do like to talk about is economics and politics, and there's a few things shaking up the business world right now. Some shady behavior, scandals, and the like. Intriguing, huh? First up, you got both TikTok and Under Armour under scrutiny by the U.S. government. Now, I'm wondering, why on earth would TikTok, of all companies, be under investigation? And for those of you who don't know who TikTok is, what TikTok is, then chances are you're old, because it's the new thing, quote unquote, among us young people. It's a fun little music video app, but the reason why it's under scrutiny is because it's a Chinese company, and apparently China can hack into our phones by having a simple app. I can see where they'd be coming from, given that China likes to steal other countries' intellectual property, especially American intellectual property. But come on, what teenager or college student is going to have top secret government data or national security info on their phone, right? Who's gonna have that? Maybe if the president gets a TikTok, but come on, let's be real. Why would they have that download on their phone? You don't need to put an app on someone's phone to steal their data. There's plenty of other ways hackers can get around it. There's also Under Armour is also under scrutiny for an entirely different reason. So they're not doing so well on sales, so they're shifting around the sale dates a little bit so that they can make some quarters look healthier than they actually are, which is highly illegal. So good chance that's not going to end well for them. Then finally, in the scandal business world, the CEO of McDonald's got fired for an inappropriate relationship with one of his staffers. What else is new? Where have we heard this before? Powerful rich guy gets in trouble for an inappropriate relationship with a female employee. It sounds like, a whole bunch of people. It's not even news. That happens all the time. That's common. I feel like there's a difference between news and commonplace, as I believe I've said before. This shouldn't be this isn't my commentary on the news day right now. This is my commentary on the commonplace right now. But now back to news, okay? According to the journal, just one Chinese firm named Contemporary Amperex Technology Ltd, or CATL for short, that controls virtually all of the mines or a good chunk rather, of all the mines that dig for the materials needed to build lithium-ion batteries, which are used in everything from iPhones to electric cars. But the main focus on this article is on electric cars, not phones. So the metals that are one is lithium, hence the name lithium ion. There's also other rare earth metals that are mainly found in China, and also to a smaller extent in the United States and in especially Texas and in Africa. So in a world that's really wanting to move to electric cars, but they're not really practical yet, lithium ion batteries are quite the commodity. So yeah. Just to give you some idea of how important this is to China, 60% of all electric vehicle sales last year were in China. 60% of all electric cars, they're Chinese. And it's estimated by about 2030 or so, 57% of all of China's cars are going to be electric. All of them. Or all 57% of them. That's crazy. Right now in the US, it's only 3 or 4%. Can you imagine that? And especially given the fact that China has a population that's 5 times the size of ours. It's a lot of electric cars. For comparison, Europe, with a population about double ours, is going to be 26% electric car by 2030. In the US, only 8%. We love our gas guzzlers, don't we? That's not to say that having a gas-powered car is wrong, and I believe I did a video about that already. So you should after this, you should check that out if you're curious as to why electric cars aren't quite all they're hyped up to be. Well, yeah, not quite. let's keep flipping, shall we? Well, the there's they finally voted on rules for the impeachment inquiry, making it which now instead of Nancy Pelosi just up and deciding to have an inquiry, it's been voted on. So it's officially happening, folks. Trump is having his official impeachment inquiry. But let's be real. We all knew that they're gonna try and impeach Trump as soon as he won on election night. Even like before he won, people were thinking, okay, yeah, if he wins, they're gonna try to impeach him. And the people who are trying to impeach him now, like Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, said, if he wins, we're gonna impeach him. So that's going on. Given he declared his candidacy in 2015, well, okay, let's be fair to them. 2016, was when he got nominated as the Republican candidate. So that's 3 years of nonstop investigations and a witch hunt that's wasted millions of dollars and gone nowhere. And all the while, all these important things are getting stalled. Like USMCA, let's vote on that. How about maybe fixing drug prices? Is to see if insurers will bring those down a little bit, or maybe helping solve the opioid crisis. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of issues there way more pressing than impeachment, and over half the country doesn't even want impeachment. This impeachment, it's politically motivated. It'd be one thing if Trump actually did commit a crime, but he didn't. So it's really, really, really not a good idea. Now that brings us to the op-ed section of the paper. Let us start with this article about where was it? Oh yes, this one called Warren has a parentheses fantasy plan. They put fantasy in parentheses because she always says, I have a plan, I have a plan, I have a plan, I have a plan, I have a plan. But those plans aren't grounded in numbers. In fact, SNL actually did a skit about her, or saying about her, in which the actor portraying her said, "Oh, when numbers get that big, numbers don't matter. It's just a promise that a computer makes up. That's all money is." So, I mean, yeah, it's SNL, so obviously it's satire, but that's pretty close to how Elizabeth Warren in specific and Democratic candidates in general are taking this whole how are you going to pay for everything nonsense. Or, I mean, that question, how are you going to pay for everything, isn't nonsense, but their answers they give are nonsense, you know? So apparently, so all these plans are given, like, over the next 10 years, this is how much it'll cost, which to be fair, that's a good projection of, that's like long-term thinking there, like, what's this cost in the long run, not just, like, 1 year, because it can go up, the price can go up and down per year, depending on a wide variety of factors, but over the next decade, her plan is she says that her plan will cost only, quote-unquote, slightly less than the $52 trillion the U.S. is expected to spend on healthcare in the next 10 years. Now, that number, $52 trillion, first of all, that's $5.2 trillion a year technically, because it's over a course of 10 years. And second, that's both public and private sector money. So that's like in the public sector, that would be Medicare, Medicaid, public employee, health insurance, that kind of thing. Whereas private sector would be hospitals and private insurance and people just paying out of pocket for medical stuff. So that's $52 trillion. She says her plan will be less than that. Because that's why she's been saying costs, like, when people ask her if taxes will go up, she says, like, no, tax. She says, no, costs will go down. She says costs will go down, not taxes. Taxes will go up, but she justifies that by saying that premiums will become non-existent because the government's paying for everything via taxes. But as I believe I've mentioned before, big spending means big corruption and big waste. So it's going to be a lot higher than $52 trillion, guaranteed. So from this $52 trillion figure, she deducts the money already spent on Medicare, Medicaid, aid, and the state federal children's health program and government worker benefits. So that takes away about $22 trillion of it. That's That's already paid for. The rest, though, is $30 trillion. So she needs to figure out how she's going to raise $30 trillion and over the next decade, or $3 trillion per year. Remember, tax revenue now is 3.7 trillion, is 3.7 trillion dollars a year, and it's 4.6 trillion for the entire federal budget. So we're already running a hefty deficit, almost $1 trillion a year. So it's gonna be hard to come up with a payment for this. So she says that instead of 30 trillion, it'll be 20.5 trillion dollars. What? How? How do you go from like the $30 trillion left to pay and say, oh no, it'll only be 20.5 trillion? How? How do you bring that down? It's ridiculous. I mean, one way you could do it is find ways to make the American people healthy. Because I personally think that instead of arguing over who's going to pay for healthcare, we should figure out we should instead be making people healthy in the first place, so we don't have to spend as much money on healthcare. You know what I mean? That's like right now, like saying people arguing over how they're gonna pay for healthcare, or is equivalent to saying like whether you can use a mop or a towel to clean up water on the floor or in the bathroom, and yet the faucet on the bathtub's still running. For the logical thing to do would be turn off the tap and then clean everything up, not try to clean up while the tap's still flowing, right? The analogy being, of course, we should try to make people figure out why people aren't healthy, which we know why people are lazy and they eat unhealthy. That's pretty much it right there. And then address that, and then voila, we don't have to spend so much on healthcare. Problem solved. Done. But maybe I'm the only one who thinks that, right? Maybe. And then, let's see, I got two more op-eds for you. One is this, I'm going to flip around the camera so you can, I'm going to hold this up to the camera so you can see this graph here. Truth on income inequality section. See this little graph? As it shows here, the blue is the blue line is net income for people, and the red line is earned income. You'll notice that one area there's shaded blue and one area there's shaded red. So it's an article about how about the sort of the inaccuracy in the Senate's the Census Bureau's average household income records. So that when they take average household income, they don't take into effect taxes and that people pay to the government or benefits they receive. So when they say that income inequality is so bad, it's really, and that all these Democratic candidates saying that we're going to address income inequality, it's based off of fraudulent numbers. Whether they're accidentally or deliberately fraudulent, I don't know. But when you don't take into effect taxes, it plays a big role, because the blue shade area is all the low income, is people of lower income. Now those people, they earn a lot more in benefits than they pay in taxes. I believe there's a specific number here for how much, oh yes, I see. For every dollar of taxes that people in the bottom two quintiles, so that's like the bottom 20% of people pay, they're receiving about $17. They're receiving about between $4 and $17 in benefits. So while they're earning considerably less than higher income Americans, it's made up for slightly by the benefits they receive. Flip that around and you'll see that the really wealthy Americans are paying a lot in taxes, but barely collect anything in benefits. Like they collect their benefits are they get to use the schools and roads, and the military protects them. And the cops and 911 are there. So yeah, they're paying. So income inequality. So okay, even with that, rich people still have a lot more than poor people. But let's be real, the gap isn't as big as it's made out to be. The final article is about is titled "The Clinton Impeachment Was Fair," written by the two of the most prominent Republican congressmen who were pushing for Bill Clinton's impeachment in the 90s. So it basically just details all the things that they did, all the courtesies that they afforded Bill Clinton. Like, first of all, they didn't want to impeach. They didn't come into office like Rashida Tlaib did. They didn't say we're gonna impeach the MF and Bill Clinton. They came to work with Bill Clinton, but then they impeached him because had he been honest, he probably wouldn't have been impeached. Like, had he been honest about Lewinsky, I think he would have gotten off fine, like with a slap on the wrist. But because he lied about it, that's perjury, which is arguably an impeachable offense. So it was a pretty grave matter. They didn't want to impeach. They let all the lawyers do all their work. They had a fair investigation, just make absolutely certain that impeachment was the right direction. Did all the due process stuff, check off the lists of like fair trial, all of that. And they draw a sharp comparison between that and Trump's impeachment, which is, as I said before, a bit of a kangaroo court where the rules are made up as people go along. So basically saying that Democrats saying, well, the Republicans weren't fair to Bill Clinton when they were trying to impeach him. Actually, they were. All right, that's all I got for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Patriot Warriors Soapbox.